let's get into Texas predictions, okay? Let's get right into these. Who wants to go first? I don't feel great about it, but I'm going to do it. I'll go first.
I don't want
I'll
to
go
do
first, you
this on
pansies. I'll step up
Tuesday.
to the plate and hit a home run. Texas's defense has certainly been improved, right? At least on paper. They've played terrible offenses. The Lord knows that, right? They have not played a good offense today. However, the line of scrimmage for Texas on both sides of the ball, but we're talking about defense right now. The line of scrimmage for this football team is really, really legit, and they have gotten after the quarterback. They've created havoc through the 7 games. And you can say what you want about, this past defense last year being a vulnerability. They at least made some changes, and those guys are playing better. But those guys don't have to cover near as long this year as they did last year. They're getting after the quarterback at a much higher rate, it seems, to this point in the season. That being said, this Georgia passing attack has been absolutely dialed when their backs are against the wall. And I think their back is going to be against the wall in this football game. There's going to be, from Jump Street, a feeling and a need for Georgia to score. And in that case, this year, they have certainly put up the points when needed to do so. I said after the Alabama football game, I am picking Georgia the rest of the way. Players beat Georgia, schemes do not. However, that was before they got schemed to death last year against Mississippi State. And that certainly scares me. And I'm going to stand on it, though. I'm going to stand 10 toes down, despite the fact that I watched multiple busted coverages happen last year. Give me Georgia, or last week, give me Georgia, 38-35 in this game. I think the offense wins it.
You want it or me?
I don't even want to do it at all on Tuesday, man.
It is tough doing these on Tuesdays. I said at the beginning of the season that if there were a game that I thought Georgia would lose, it was going to be this one. I thought they would beat Alabama. I thought they'd beat Ole Miss. I thought they would beat Tennessee. And that feeling, and certainly throughout the season, that has felt like a solid prediction of just kind of how the season has gone on, how you have looked against different teams, and certainly against Mississippi State, watching your secondary kind of struggle a little bit against some different schemes. But I also think that the offense is improving for Georgia. I think Carson Beck is playing with the most confidence he's ever played with his entire career, and I think you're seeing steps in the right direction for the wide receiver group, and the defensive line has certainly helped you a lot in where maybe some of your shortcomings have been on defense with some eye discipline and whatnot. But Texas, I mean, they're playing the best football in college right now. They're playing it better than anybody. They're playing consistently. And Dad always said, trust your gut no matter what. But my gut's saying Georgia's winning on Saturday. I keep coming back to this feeling that Georgia is going to get the job done on Saturday. So that's what I'm going to stick with. Despite what my pre-notions were coming into the season, despite what maybe things are pointing to right now, gut feeling says Georgia wins 38-34.
B. Schaefer said, bro, you didn't believe that pick. No, none of us do. None of us feel good about this at all. Go ahead, Kirby. Do you feel good?
I don't feel good anymore after you two pick Georgia.
Oh, Lord. We're homering? All right, I'm going to pick Texas.
Picking Texas?
No. Boy, somebody needs to.
Yeah. You believe in the superstition?
It's too close for a three-panel sweep right here.
Yeah.
They're 4-point dogs, boys. They played like dog dookie on the defensive side of the football just last week. We all saw it.
They sure did.
But
Offense dialed, though. Offense dialed.
College game day is probably going to clean sweep it in one direction. Other people clean sweep it in one direction.
Yeah.
Say it with your chest right quick.
Do we have this much influence on the game? Have we reached that status yet?
The last time I picked Alabama, I heard it.
Oh, so did I.
Not from fans. I heard it. Okay? So, yeah.
All right. So
Which, your boy was right. So,
But I think, too, like, picking a game, like, what was your score prediction?
38-35. I think it's a shootout.
38-30. So 3-score. Mine was 4-score. I mean, it's a very minuscule 1-score game. So that's essentially saying this could easily go either way. But essentially, we think one team is going to come out on top and win that battle.
All right, here's my prediction for it. We've got a team in Texas that is bona fide the number one team, has handled every challenge you've thrown at them. But the question is, have the challenges been that hard?
Ain't played nobody, Paul.
Then compared to a team where Georgia, where the challenges have been a little harder, they've had some easy games, but they've also been wildly inconsistent. You can't really get a grasp on what is this team exactly. We've seen some very high highs, and they look really, really good. We've seen some very low lows, and they look like anyone in the world could beat them. That's a very hard team to predict, and that's a very dangerous team to kind of cheer for when you're going into a road environment that you don't have any familiarity with. You haven't traveled to Austin since 1958, I don't think. So this is going to be a unique environment for Kirby Smart, for the players, for fans, for everyone on this Georgia staff. That doesn't bode well for you. Not to mention you're going against a Sark offense who the last time you faced them had a lot of answers for you in 2020. Things didn't go necessarily well. Now, granted, they had Devontae Smith, they had Mac Jones, they had the whole litany of offensive stars, and your defense held their own in that game. I feel like Texas right now is the trendy pick in this, and I feel like the world kind of thinks Texas is this unstoppable team. What Texas put on display against Oklahoma was nothing short of domination, and the world's going to remember that. What Georgia put on display against Mississippi State was nothing short of concerning and kind of eyebrow-raising, despite the fact that they had 600 yards of offense. I'm riding with J. Will here and saying that you go with your gut. My gut tells me this is the game where Georgia has to get it right. They have to be consistent on both sides of the ball. They have to not bust on defense. They have to make their layups on offense, not miss blocks that potentially could cause 100-yard gains or things like that. I'm going to go with Georgia simply because my gut is telling me to, because I think Kirby Smart wins these types of games, and I don't know if Texas is necessarily as good as everyone wants them to believe, but I could very well see this game going either way. I'll go Georgia 41-37.
So we all see a lot of points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
I hope this game lives up.
I think it will. I think it
I
absolutely
hope it
will.
does.
And at the beginning of the Georgia-Alabama game, it didn't look like that one was going to live up. It ended up living up. So the fact that we all picked a one-score game, I'll spit this stat out. Kirby Smart in his career at Georgia in one-score football games, 19-9. Steve Sarkisian at Texas is 7-12. But I'll say this too. This game gives me 2023 SEC championship game vibes. That's how I'm feeling going into this game. Of Georgia last year went perfect throughout the season. Everybody was calling them probably the only elite team in college football. That's what people were labeling them as. But it felt like a year where there were no complete football teams. It felt like where there wasn't just this one dominant force, that nobody was playing elite football at that time. And Alabama on the other side of it was playing some up and down football. They had some questions. Never seemed like they really put it all together until they went and played against a team like Georgia, a team that looked like everything was going right for them, that they couldn't do anything wrong. That's just kind of my thoughts and my feelings going into this game of, in a season of college football where we say maybe there isn't a good or great or elite team this year, but Texas seems like that one, and then you have a Georgia team that kind of fits in the other mold. Nick Saban was the better coach against Kirby Smart in the SEC championship game in prior matchups. I think Kirby Smart is the better coach coming into this matchup. That's just kind of where it falls for me.
Fair.